On this lesson, I'm going to show you how to set up your document for your corporate identity with multiple artboards and how to add guidelines and layout content and also find elements that you can use for your design. I'm going to freestyle the design of it and I'll probably do a few layouts of the business card and then translate that to the letterhead and the envelope. So the first thing that I want to do is create one artboard document, and then I'll go from there and add more artboards that are gonna be the other pieces for it. So I'll start a new file on Illustrator and I'm going to work on inches, and I'm just gonna start with the first artboard for the letterhead. And the letterhead is a regular letter size, US size. Our different paper sizes are letterhead is 8.5 by 11, and then we have legal, which is 8.5 by 14, and tabloid, which is 11 by 17. So those are the standard print sizes. You can look here at the print, and A4 is basically the letterhead size for Europe. So they have a different, it's a little bit wider, I believe. I don't know the exact dimensions in inches, but it's totally different. So here we work on inches, 8.5 by 11, and portrait orientation. Now the bleed is the extension of our background. If you have a background, if you have in white background all the way to the edge, then you don't need to stand. You still need the bleed just for purposes of, you know, standard settings, but it's mostly when you have color background. So there I'm gonna add 0.125, which is 1/8 of an inch all around. Okay, and you just click on this little link to have all of them link. If you break the link, then you can change the different dimensions of bleed, but you know, just keep it at 1/8 of an inch. On InDesign, which is made for layouts, you can set the guidelines and set your grid. You can do more settings for the layout, but on Illustrator we need to bring in our own guidelines. Okay, now right now you can't see my ruler, so I'm gonna do Command R, and here's my ruler. The closer you get to the ruler, you'll see the 1/2 inch, you'll see the inch. If you get closer, you can see the 1/4 inch, and closer you'll see, you know, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch. So you have total control of how you see the ruler, and you can, you know, precisely bring in your guidelines, right? So the edge of the actual 8.5 by 11 is this black line. This is my paper that's gonna be basically printed. The red line, that's the bleed, the 1/8 of an inch. So any background that I drop in here needs to be all the way to that line. Okay, so we can't place that here because when we print, there's going to be crop marks here and here, and if the print moves when it's going to the press, if you're doing, let's say, 1,000 copies, and any one of them can move about 1/16 of an inch is the largest error of margin for a commercial printer. Then when the cutter comes in and cuts right here, all of them at the same time, some of them the background is gonna be maybe here, maybe here, maybe here. So you could have uneven edges and white lines. So we do a bleed, we print in a larger sheet, so it doesn't matter if they move a little bit. Once the cutter comes here on this 0, it doesn't matter, nobody will notice that any of them are misaligned. That's the whole purpose of having a bleed. The guidelines that we're drawing are basically so that we can have our content in a nice frame from the edge. So backgrounds, they can go all the way to the bleed. Content needs to stay aligned within those guidelines. Okay. So basically, I'm going to design a simple design for, let's say, Valencia College with my information. And first thing I want to do is set up the document correctly, all of the pieces, and then start designing. So the first thing I want to do is put guidelines in. And guidelines, I bring them in by dragging from the ruler and placing it in the location. Now notice how the guidelines go beyond the paper into the pasteboard, and I don't want that, because if I put guidelines here and then I have another artboard on the side, the guideline is gonna roll over. So what I do to solve that issue is I activate the artboard with the artboard tool, which is this one right here. Just click on it, and now your artboard is activated. And you're gonna bring in the guideline inside of the artboard. Don't bring it from here. Bring it from here inside the actual artboard. And you're gonna look at your left ruler, half an inch or a quarter inch. I want to do less than a quarter, so I'm doing a half an inch now. So I'm bringing in half an inch from the top, and for the sides, half an inch from the edge of the paper, and half an inch from the bottom of the paper. So there, I'm set. Okay, now cool thing about this is I can just take this artboard and duplicate it, right? So I'm holding down Option key, and with the artboard activated, I'm clicking and dragging. But notice how the guidelines didn't come over, and that's because they're locked. So you need to unlock them. So I'm going to View, Guides, Unlock Guides. And now when I hold down the Option key and click and drag, it also brought the guidelines with me. Perfect. So now I have both sides of my letterhead, front and the back, with the information. So now I'm doing the business cards. And to do the business card, I'm going to click on the artboard tool again, and I can either click and drag and look at the sizing, which will be 2 by 3.5. You could do it this way, or you can come up here in the dimensions and fix the dimensions by 3.5 and 2 inches in height. There we go. And I'm gonna do the same thing here. Notice how the ruler is global, so it started with the first artboard and now it continues here. So if I wanted the 0 of the rulers to align with this artboard, I need to come here where they all cross in this corner. I'm gonna click and hold, and I'm gonna drag it to this corner of the artboard and see how the ruler resets to it. So now I can bring in my guidelines, and here I'm gonna do a 1/4 inch, not half an inch because it's too big. So about a 1/4 inch, bring this in. And you could do 1/8 of an inch if you think it's too large, which it seems like it is. So there. And the same thing, Option key, click and drag. There we go. Now if you wanted to do this portrait, you can change the orientation, but you're gonna have to, rotate the guidelines because they're unlocked. You can just click and select them and then, rotate them. If you're doing a square, then you can do about 2.25 by 2.25. That would be like a standard size for a square card. So you just gotta do the artboard accordingly to what you want. Last one I'm going to do is the one for the envelope. So for the envelope, you start here. You click here on this little plus sign, new artboard, and it does a new artboard. And then the size of that artboard is 9.5. Oops, but then it goes into here. So just trying to move it. 9.5 by 4 and 1/8, 4.125. That is a standard US envelope right there. And same thing, zoom in, and there is a layout for envelopes, but at least you need a 1/4 inch margin from the edges. And notice how I don't even have my ruler set up, so I can't. I'm gonna bring it here, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch on each side. Okay. So right there. All right, and I'll have my envelope, and I'm gonna do 2 sides of the envelopes too. Okay, there we go. So here what I'm gonna do is start laying out my business card for Valencia. Notice how here I have some content for my information. I'm just gonna copy it, and I'm gonna put it in a empty area right here where I can just copy and paste it. There we go. There's all my content, so I'm gonna be copying this and laying out my business card. Right now I don't have any real inspiration for the design, so the design is gonna be very simple. So I'm going to bring in the logo, and for my logo I do have the Valencia logo and the Valencia standard sheets. So this is something that, when they created the logo, they gave this to everybody, right? And here I have the actual Pantones for Valencia, the different secondary colors that I can use for digital, uncoded, and coded sheet. And the master logo, which is this one, this is the preferred Valencia college logo. And then we have the alternative logos, which are the secondary, the sizing of it, the minimum, the largest, all this stuff. And then internal logos, which are only for Valencia. So I think I'm going to use this one for my design. Keep it simple, and then go from there. So if I come here into the logos, I go into vector, coded. Look how organized and how they have everything. And this is the 4-color box. I think it's this one. And here's the Valencia college logo. So when I copy this, boom, there we go. All right, and remember, my design's just gonna be simple. I'm not trying to be a big artist or anything like that. This is just for the lesson. So maybe right there is cool, and since this is a design, I can play around with it. All right, I'm gonna do something like this. So remember, any color that you want to have it go all the way to the bleed at the edge of the paper, you need to extend it all the way to the red line, right? So I like this, and I'm also going to do maybe a little something here. And I'm gonna grab this color. There. So that's my Valencia College great design. It's not that impressive, but it's pretty decent. Okay, so this is side one. That's it. So think of the business card as a book book cover, and where you have the front, and then you have the back where the information is going to go. You don't need to have the logo on both sides if you've already laid it out. Okay, now this, you want to break it up into sections, right? You want to have them individually broken up. There is rules to the logo and the font and all that stuff. So if you look at the standards, they have all of the logo rules here, and they also gave me the fonts, which is Gotham, so I need to use Gotham, right, for their design and the actual colors. So here I can go full white, or maybe I can go with a color background here, which would be pretty cool. Maybe I want to do a red square, and this one's yellow. But once you brought in your logo, you should have the colors already in there. So now I can come in here and maybe follow the design from the front, maybe do something like that. Maybe have it even larger. So maybe this is one design where I have nice clean and white, and I go full color on the back, and I start laying this out. So first thing I'm gonna start with is name and title. Okay, and remember, one click, paste, and maybe that's gonna go here. So you kind of start laying everything out. Now, in terms of font size, largest font size, depending on the design, you want to go with 12 points. Smallest font size, 5 points at the most. So here I'm gonna start adding colors and doing maybe this one's gonna be white, and gonna bring this down, so maybe 8 points, and this is 12 points. And now this is going to be Gotham. So Gotham, bold, medium, and book. Maybe I'll use those three. This is black. I like bold. And then for the title, maybe I'll go with Gotham medium, right? There we go. That's it. And then information. So here we go. One. And this is gonna be Gotham regular. Gotham book. And it's gonna be white and about smaller. So this one's gonna be like 5 or 6 points is fine. Maybe it's gonna be right here. Okay, and this information, which is the website. Maybe the website you don't need to have the www stuff. You only need to have the actual just the web. So something like this, and I'm gonna have it in Gotham, medium, and maybe I'm gonna have it here, right there, and smaller. 8 points, similar to the title, and it's gonna be yellow. Okay, and this looks too small for me. Maybe 7 points, and this is gonna be up here. There we go. And then this information also could go here. So if I want similar fonts to this, I just highlight the information. I get the eyedropper tool and I click on it, and it's already set up. There we go. So maybe I want the name also. There we go. And boom. But this one, let me make it medium, make it stand out, and yellow. There we go. That's it. So far, that's just my design. But maybe I want to incorporate some icons, right? So I can come here and search for social media icons vector, free download. Social with 1C, icons with no space, Jesus. And vectors, no PNGs. You need vector graphics. Free pick is very good. So what am I gonna do here? Circles, no circles. Am I gonna go with squares, round corners? I think I'm going clean, so I like this ones here. Okay, don't use the full color social media icons. Use the colors of your brand. So I'm gonna be using this ones and changing the colors. So what I have to do now is download, and it opens in a folder. I go to my Illustrator, I open, downloads, social media, here's the APS. There we go. So maybe I'm going to group this. Okay, and I'm going to be using this icons, this one, this one, and this one. Copy that, and where am I gonna put them is a good question. So maybe I'm going to have them here. Oh my god, maybe have them here next to the website, and they're gonna be white instead of yellow, so they can stand out a little bit. And I'm probably gonna use the one of these ones, maybe this little icon for the location. Put it here. I'll try first white. So notice how I'm just using the colors of the brand, just two simple colors, not doing too much. And I could do an icon for everything, but I just want one for information. And usually the phone numbers goes first, and usually it's larger, so I'm probably gonna do that. Follow the and probably just gonna do a medium and make it stand out much better. Follow the lessons on branding and layout. This one, 6. 6 seems very small. I don't know why. So do it. 8. There we go. Just like that. And one little icon for I'm probably just gonna use this one, the profile one. Make it the same size, so if you put it right next to it, you can just shrink it, and there. About there. So that one goes here, and this is gonna be white, correct? Yes. Perfect. So now I have all my assets. My business card is designed. I need to save this. So desktop, I'm gonna save it there. VC value, whatever. There we go. Awesome. Now I can start designing the rest. So I'm just gonna do one side of the letter head, and I'm gonna bring this over. Well, let me lock the guides. They're already set up. So view, guides, locked. And I'm gonna bring this over here, and I'm gonna use this here. This seems to be too long now, so I think there we go. There. And what I'm gonna do is, shoot, forgot to copy it. There we go, copy. Notice how all I'm gonna do is use the assets already developed to kind of create this design. So I'm not doing anything new. I'm just copying. I think this should be a little bit there. Maybe there. There. And I'm gonna, here I only need things like the address, phone number, email, website. I don't need a lot of stuff. I don't need my personal name, personal information for this because it's corporate. So there we go. And this stuff you can, if you're always gonna keep it together, just group it, group, and then group, and you can align it right there. You can use the alignment tools up here, keep them aligned. There we go. Trying to keep it centered. So select everything and align centered. There we go. But this tool align them together. There we go. So now everything's nice and centered there. And last thing I want to do is bring in my website. Now notice how it's all vertical, so I can do a few things, like I could put it here so it's vertical, or I can put it down here so it takes its own space. There is pretty cool. Looks a little bit small, so maybe 10 points. And make this larger too. Great. And you can go to Object, Transform Each. And here you can rotate them. And it rotates each one. You don't have to do each one individually. That's it. And make sure you group things that are gonna go together so that you don't have to, there we go. This is so far what I have, and if I go and hide my guides, this is what my design is looking like. Pretty cool. So now the same thing, I just gotta bring this over here. So for the envelope, what I want to do is, maybe I want a front and a back. So here I'm gonna draw my flap, and I can draw my flap by just bringing in a square and doing like maybe a 1, like right there, like 1 inch maybe. And maybe I want to make it red, and I could bring in this too, right there, and bring in this one right there. And now I can just make this 2 bottom ones rounded. Click on it and then drag it, and then you can make it individually round. Okay, there we go. Maybe from here what I want to do is bring this in, and I want it here in the center, nice and clean. Colleges are very corporate and boring and clean, so you don't have to do much. And then for the address, I want to bring this in. Just like this. Need something like that. Here, and then bring this in here. You don't need the little icon, but I like it, so I'm just gonna keep it. And of course I would need the entire address, the street and all that stuff, but I'm just freestyling this design right now. I like it closer, right there. And lastly, repeat this. Oops. Copy. And the layout of an envelope is that you can put the address on the flap, your sender's address, You can also put it at the top left. That's just the standard location for it. The receiver's address would go here, and the stamp will go on the top right, you know. So the stamp will go right in there. There is a size for the stamp. Don't know it right now, but just gonna visually do this. And just maybe like a little grip. All right, and then I'm gonna put the Valencia logo. I'm not gonna use that one. I'm using this one. Down here. Get a little bit smaller. Maybe you could put it there. I can also try it out here. Maybe I like it more there. Let this area clean from the info. Wherever you think is appropriate and consistent with your design. Obviously, you know, I have it here on the left hand side, so I would rather put it here on the left hand side, but since I have this so heavy, I'm gonna probably zigzag it there. So there it is. There's my brand. It's done. Just keep it simple, consistent, legible, and follow your inspirations.